There's gonna be a lot of spoilers today, so buckle up. What's up? It's your girl Serena Marie, and we need to talk about Swan Song on Apple TV+. Just give me a second. So I feel like this is a movie that no one is talking about. I keep checking Twitter to see if there are reviews, and an article came out recently, I haven't read it yet, interviewing MAHERSHALA. But have people been watching this? I don't know very many people who have Apple TV Plus, to be honest. I don't know why I have Apple TV Plus. No, there is a new show coming out that I'm excited for. But anyway, the movie has 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's not terrible. So, Swan Song. The description reads, when a loving husband and father is diagnosed with a terminal illness, he's presented with a controversial alternative solution to shield his family from his loss: replace himself with a carbon copy clone. Dun dun dun! No. So this movie is starring MAHERSHALA Ali and Naomi Harris. They were both in, I know what it is. Moonlight? Black Boys Turn Blue in Moonlight? That's the name of the movie. Barry Jenkins? Why am I like this? It is Moonlight, Barry Jenkins, 2016. Oh, goodness, what a great film. Anyway, Swan Song. Recent released on Apple TV Plus. It's also starring Glenn Close, Adam Beach, and Awkwafina, who is not memorable at all. I feel like Awkwafina, I guess we'll hop into my notes. I feel like Awkwafina was put in this movie as like some sort of comedic relief, but was she funny? Like, she was not memorable at all, but on posters it's like MAHERSHALA, Naomi, Awkwafina, but her role could have been played by anyone, so I don't understand it at all. Anyway, I watched this movie twice. Once because I like MAHERSHALA Ali, the second time to rewatch the love, like the falling in love portion of it. The love story. I loved the love story, okay? I loved it the first time, loved it the second time, but the end just wasn't really it for me. In the film, MAHERSHALA has some undisclosed illness that causes him to have seizures, I think. He passes out a lot. I think he had seizures, and it's terminal. So he is going to die. I don't know how long he has to live exactly. I can't remember if they mention it, but they don't name the disease. And his wife has experienced, Naomi is playing his wife. She's not only experienced the death of her twin brother, but also her mother over the course of their relationship, I think. And so she doesn't want to experience any more loss, and he knows that. So he tries to find a way to make it so that she doesn't have to deal with his death as well, and that is by creating this clone of himself. The movie doesn't talk about how this cloning situation came to be. I don't know the history of this place that creates the clones at all. I don't know how it's not more publicized. Like, it's like off in the woods somewhere. They like blindfold you in order to get there. Like, it's very hidden, but he knows about it. How he came to know about it, I have no idea. I have so many questions. The movie goes back and forth between present day and the past. And in the past, we see Naomi and MAHERSHALA. I can't remember their characters' names, so we're going to call them by their first names. But they end up meeting. Naomi hops on the train. They're commuting to work, I assume. And Naomi's speaking French on the phone to somebody. And they sit across from each other. They both have purchased a chocolate bar at some point in time. But when they get on the train, there's a table and there's a piece of chocolate. There's the Echo chocolate bar on the table. And Naomi opens it and starts to eat it. And MAHERSHALA is like, this woman is eating my chocolate bar. So he takes a piece so that she knows that that's his chocolate. Come to find out, It was her chocolate all along. He found the chocolate bar that he bought in his pocket later on, and he realizes that he was the one who made a mistake, and he's all embarrassed. And I was just like, this is adorable. I love a meet cute. If I could play my own meet cute, I would meet my future husband like in an airport somewhere. Like we'd both be flying off to some destination and like end up having a great time. Anyway, that's not happening. So at some point in time, he finds out that he has this illness and he doesn't tell her. He's keeping a secret. And throughout the movie, he's basically trying to decide if he wants to go through with the clone thing or tell her that he is going to die. In the midst of trying to make this decision, he finds out that his wife is pregnant with their second child, making this decision, I was gonna say even harder, but maybe easier. Maybe it's an easier decision knowing that there's gonna be 2 children now without a father potentially. How sad. Something else that pushes him to do this, to go along with the clone thing, is that his wife has expressed in conversation that if her mom had had that option, then she wishes her mom would have taken that option. Like she wishes her mom could be there, whether or not it was a clone or the real person. And so I think that pushes him in the direction of pursuing the clone thing even more. Again, I don't know how all of them knew about this, because there's only one person at a time. Like Aquafina, Aquafina is also dying and had a clone made of her, but there's only ever 2 people at this clinic at a time. And so I'm not sure what the publicity around, like if it's a thing, people must be curious. No one's asking enough questions. No one is asking enough questions for me. So this movie reminded me of 2 things. One, I can never remember the name of the show, and I love this show. What is... Let me Google British show about the future. Oh. Like Black Mirror. Jesus, why am I like this? So this movie reminded me of Black Mirror, as well as another movie called Black Box. So Black Mirror is very like futuristic, high-tech situation, and that's basically this movie. It feels like you're watching Black Mirror, to be honest. They do this thing where like they put these things on your head in order to take the memories from the original Mahershala and put it into the clone. They have these like things. There's like this robot on the train that you buy your snacks from. The car drives itself. It's very much like we're in the future. This is technology. And so it gives that. And then the way that it sets up the clone in the film, there's a movie called Black Box on Amazon Prime. And if I'm remembering correctly, there's a clone, but he ends up being a bad guy. Like the mom's trying to recreate something. I can't remember, but it was giving that vibe. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments. I feel like it's a very obscure kind of film. Not very many people watched, I think. Anyway, it reminded me of those 2 things, but it was almost a little less satisfying than Black Box and any episode of Black Mirror that I've ever seen. Again, loved this movie for the love story aspect. Like the first hour of this movie, fantastic. The second hour was a little slow for me. I felt betrayed by the lack of intensity. Like, how do you put Glenn Close in a movie and not actually give her anything? It just fell really flat. Anyway, so there's a certain point where without Mahershala's, without his consent, they send the clone in because he's supposed to be home, but Mahershala passed out and needed to be in the hospital. So they send the clone in just to test things out, so his wife doesn't get suspicious. And the other staff member in this clinic makes it seem like it's a bad idea. Like, this is a terrible idea. The clone isn't ready, blah, blah, blah. And Glenn is like, you need to chill. I know what I'm doing. But it makes her seem like she's like being sneaky, right? And Mahershala, once he realizes the clone is there, is very suspicious, very worried. But nothing happens? So there's a scene, Mahershala is mad because the clone keeps taking his contact lenses, which are cameras, out before Mahershala would like him to. And so Mahershala thinks that something's happening that he wouldn't approve of. There is a scene where Mahershala is, I guess you can assume the clone is at the dinner table with Mahershala's family, and he gets really upset and throws the boy's toy, his son's toy, across the room and smashes it. But Mahershala wakes up, and we see after the second watch, I realized that that was just his dream and the clone didn't actually do that. So there's nothing wrong with the clone. The clone isn't a bad guy. Like, that's not what this movie is. But they set it up like that's what it was supposed to be. And so why do us like that? At the end of the day, the clone was perfectly fine and ready to fill in for Mahershala. Mahershala agrees to it and spends the rest of his days in the clinic, I assume. And then the movie's over. Like, I'm a crier. When movies are sad, I cry. And this one, the idea of it is sad, but the movie just wasn't very well executed, okay? In general, it was good. I'm actually surprised. No, if it had an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, I would be surprised. I think 79% feels reasonable. So anticlimactic, but a perfect meet cute. So if that's what you're looking for, go check out this movie. If there's anything else that you think I should watch and review, leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to do that. And I'll see you in the next one.